So the NBA offseason is finally coming to a close, which means we're going to get some NBA basketball ruined by Giannis and the Bucks getting Dame. That trade is really crazy. Besides that, what comes with the offseason coming to a close? Early predictions that are almost 99% wrong. So today I'm going to be doing my best to predict the NBA awards for 2023 and 2024. I'm probably going to shoot like Dion Waiters shoots.
Who have thought
About what?
that a young buck like you could actually...
Just a reminder, I am not Ben Taylor. I am not some pro analyst. These are just my vibe picks, projections based on stats and film I have, and just what I think is going to happen over the season, man. So don't come at me for being wrong on a lot of these, because I know I will be. Let's start with the most fun award in my opinion, Rookie of the Year. Rookie of the Year is really just a vibe award again, because we literally have no idea how any of these players look in a real NBA setting. So for my first runner-up, I'm going to go on a limb and say Keyonte George from the Utah Jazz. His summer league was very promising, and I thought Keyonte was a great off-ball shooter at Baylor with some very enticing fluidity offensively. He showed not only he can shoot from deep, but his playmaking as a combo guard can really open up a lot of lanes for the young Utah Jazz team. The only issue I have is I'm not sure if he will even start next year with Jordan Clarkson and a lot of other guards in the rotation, but if he gets the role, I think he can have a very similar rookie year to Bennedict Mathurin of last year. Now my 1 and 2 for Rookie of the Year are somewhat interchangeable, so the order of the next two isn't super important. Coming very close at number 2, I got Victor Wembanyama of the San Antonio Spurs. I understand putting Vic at 1 as he's the easiest situation to jack shots and do whatever, but I do think the transition in the pace and physicality of the NBA will bar him from exploding right out of the gate. Regardless, however, I do believe Wemby has a legitimate shot at DPOY in his rookie season, and I think he'll be an all-defensive level big. The biggest concern to me is the offense, specifically in the paint. We all know he can jack threes and shoot those little three-point step backs. But he's not doing that against Giannis Antetokounmpo or Joel Embiid players. Like, he's just not doing that, I'm sorry. But the biggest reason overall I have Wemby at 2 is an 82-game season with the usage rate the Spurs are going to use him as.
What the hell? Oh my.
Now, I like Wemby at the 4 more, but I know at a 7'5" stature, he's going to be put at the center position. And with the load on the defensive and offensive end, I'm not sure if his body will hold up in the first year of his career. Now, that being said, if it all pans out, I could see Wemby being an all-time great rookie. However, I am just too concerned to put him at number 1, and the other guy I have at number 1 has a little bit more experience even though he's still a rookie. Overall, I expect great things to come. I am just worried that a Yao Ming-sized player is not going to be transitioning the greatest into the NBA in his rookie season. And at number 1, someone who should be consensus for the award but somehow still gets snubbed from the convo, the Applejack man himself, Chet Holmgren. Chet has had an entire season and a half to work on his game surrounded by NBA level talents, which no other rookie has the luxury of doing this season. Chet is in the most ideal situation possible in OKC, paired alongside 2 great passers and 1 elite driver in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. The lanes Chet can open with his floor spacing will elevate this Thunder team to playoff contention in my opinion, and I also believe he'll be an all-defensive talent in year 1. His defensive projection to me isn't that of Evan Mobley, where I don't see him remaining a center for very long, but his help side defense at the rim will be a huge benefit to an already extremely well-coached defensive unit. Even if he's not a great center, pairing Chet with a bigger body at the 5 and allowing him to flow as a power forward would enhance his odds of winning the award even more in my opinion. Regardless of all of that, I believe both situationally and ability-wise, Chet Holmgren will win the Rookie of the Year award in 2024. Most Improved Player is probably the hardest award in sports to predict correctly. For example, Lauri Markkanen looked like he was going to be washing dishes in a few years, and a simple trade and scenery change, he becomes an all-NBA level talent. The award's basically made to be impossible to predict, but with that being said, I'm Sam Irvin Hoops, I got some in me. Now my first runner-up for the MIP award is going to go to the Sixers' young star, Tyrese Maxey. With the Harden saga clearly going nowhere, it seems to me Tyrese Maxey's time in Philly as the main guard is going to increase. With his speed and fast break ability, it's not hard to see Maxey not shine without Harden. However, it's very safe to assume he could end up being hurt by the departure of such a beneficial playmaker. In my opinion, Maxey is basically going to be given a huge role, and this is my primary reason for why I think he deserves consideration for MIP next season. Maybe one day he can get Joel Embiid past that second round too, but we all know how that goes. Now my second runner-up for MIP is the Pistons' previous #1 selection, Cade Cunningham. This is a tricky one because I'm not sure if voters will even consider Cade as a sophomore or not due to the injuries he suffered just a season ago, but if not, Cade will 100% play himself into this award. Although not a ton of film is out on Cade in the NBA so far, with what we have of him healthy as well as the Team USA scrimmage footage, it is safe to say Cade is in for a huge year 3. Again, the only concern I have is health of course, and whether voters will even consider him for the award. Cade's playmaking and vision for his size is just so special, and I really hope he can stay on the court so people can stop sleeping on my guy. If you don't know how good Cade is, just go watch his Oklahoma highlights or even watch the plays he had before he got injured last season. And finally, my most improved player selection is none other than the baddie seeker himself, Jordan Poole.
Washington.
Poole has one of, if not the biggest opportunity to prove the league something next season, with the Wizards basically throwing the white flag up to winning now this offseason. With a complete revamp and departure of Bradley Beal along with various complementary role players beside him, Jordan Poole should look to be given a huge role within Washington's offense this upcoming season. Although he's not necessarily a great passer, with the spacing provided by guys like Corey Kispert, Kyle Kuzma, and others, as well as an elite inside finisher in Daniel Gafford.
I'll be in them pick and rolls. Some James Harden, Clint Capella, some, you know.
Man, hit him with bit, rapping that slick, I love my bit, I'm rapping that bit like.
The numbers without Steph on the floor are really what give me the promise that Jordan Poole can really step up and be that guy in Washington. Now, Sixth Man of the Year is by far the most annoying award to predict, with rotation switching on a week-to-week basis every season. We really have no idea who's a solidified sixth man in the preseason. You know, Mavs fans used to annoy me with all the Josh Green propaganda, but after his improvements in his third season, I can safely say he is the real deal. Josh pretty much improved in every facet of his game in year 3, mainly in his three-point shot making and scoring off the ball. His on and off ball defense also was very impressive, and I think a lot of that is thanks to his athleticism. And I think by year 4 his shot creation will take a leap, considering he is a great ball handler when he gets the ball. He's very athletic, and he's also a great three-point shot maker. Josh Green is a guy I could see easily playing himself up to this award, but the majority of this will ultimately fall into Kidd's lap and whether he gives him the role to do so or not in year 4. Emmanuel Quickley is one of those players you just hate to play against, but you'd love him if he was on your team. Almost like a budget Marcus Smart, Quickley is one of the best spark plug guards off the bench, and he almost took home Sixth Man of the Year last year. With voter fatigue, that should take Brogdon's name out of consideration completely, so expect his name to 100% be in the conversation, especially considering this is his contract season. He's trying to get a max next year. We still have no clue whether Paul will be off the bench or not, but it's safe to assume he'll be starting the season off the bench. Obviously, relative to his name, Chris Paul's game has slightly fallen off, but overall he's still a very good point guard in the NBA. His impact off the Warriors' horrendous bench last year should be enough to win him the sixth man pretty easily. It's really all whether or not 1, he comes off the bench, and 2, he plays enough games that at this point in his career, CP3 is literally a walking hip contusion. And if the Warriors really do run that forbidden lineup they were posting about, we're going to get a lot more of these vintage Chris Paul moments.
The play for the Buffaloes in college, a second-round pick, and Paul gets a triple. Chris Paul has picked the fourth quarter.
Finally, a real man's award. DPOY is a really fun award to track because 90% of fans don't actually know what they're talking about at all when it comes to defense. My first runner-up previously in this video is the Slender Man from San Antonio. At his size and fluidity defensively already, along with a strong front court defensive presence in Zach Collins, Wemby will easily find himself playing into the award instantly under Greg Popovich. The scheme is a dream for players like Victor Wembanyama to move freely defensively, as we saw for years with Tim Duncan. His length as a rim protector both directly under and as a help side is out of some of the best in the league right now, and if healthy, Wemby can really be a defensive player by year 1, which is insane to think about. Simply put, Greg Popovich knows what he's doing when it comes to big men, and I have no doubts he will develop Victor Wembanyama into the player he is supposed to become. Coming in just narrowly at number 2 for yet another season, I got Lakers' Anthony Davis. We all know at this point how great A. Disney is defensively, but I don't think some realize how versatile this guy truly is. Davis routinely switches on elite guards and plays the best defense you could possibly ask for, and this was seen especially in the Golden State series. His rim protection is amazing too, but we've been knowing that since his rookie season. The versatility is something that people really don't understand how well he developed. AD really reminds me of like a middle linebacker defensively in basketball. The entire possession really relies on what Anthony Davis is doing and where he is on the court. And as good as Anthony Davis is defensively, with the offensive load he carries, he won't be able to maximize his defensive potential like the guy I have at number 1. And at my number 1 spot, my idol, I'll forever hate my team for not drafting, I got Evan Mobley of the Cavaliers. Mobley nearly ran away with the award in just his second season in the league, and the improvements were impressive considering the all-defensive campaign he put together in his rookie year. Mobley's movement and roaming continues to be some of the best in the NBA, and alongside Jarrett Allen, I believe Mobley will continue to help anchor a premier defensive unit in the Cavaliers. Now what makes him a DPOY next year to me is the fact that Mobley is all in on improving his only weakness, which is his frame and physicality.
Also added like weight room into my house, and had chef and nutrition as well throughout the whole summer, just trying to build my body up. And I feel like your body's like the temple, and as long as you keep building that up, everything else will follow.
Building a home gym is one step, but it's in the right direction, and it's not like he needs a transformation. It's just a 5 to 8 pound addition that could really take his game to the next level both defensively and offensively. And yes, by the way I talk about him, you can tell I have a slight man crush on Mobley.
Weird, buddy. You're weird.
Let's start off the MVP candidates with a very safe choice. Jason Tatum has found his name in MVP convos year after year, but historic seasons have folded any chance he's had. With Embiid finally getting his MVP he's been whining for years, the award is in the clear for a new contender, and it's safe to assume Tatum will play himself into contention yet again. With the additions of both Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis, the Boston Celtics look to be the best roster in the entire league, hands down. These two additions will only help complement Tatum as floor spacers, but also as elite defenders, as both of them play really good defense relative to their position. Tatum's three-point shot creation and shooting remains some of the best in the league, but he also has an underrated handle and passing vision. Pair that with an elite defensive motor and all defensive skills really on the other side. Tatum's one of the most well-rounded stars we have in the association, and the Celtics are basically a guaranteed lock to be a 60+ win team, so I don't think it's a very hot take to say Tatum could walk home with the MVP. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the Thunder fanbase have taken the word aura and completely ruined it. I've seen more edits made about Shai's aura than I have about his basketball talent. With that being said, he is a ridiculously good basketball player. Shai put up numbers nobody thought he would last season, and I think they'll only go up this year. With the additions of Chet Holmgren, Cason Wallace, and the developments to multiple young talents, the spacing can only improve, and more importantly, the team can only get better. I think the Thunder are a playoff lock next season, and I think depending on their seeding, Shai can easily find himself in the MVP convos. He's one of, if not the most effective driver in the league, and this reflects in both his finishing stats as well as his free throw rate. Rather than developing his three-point shot as many would assume he would, Shai's shot selection has become more comfortable, resulting in both increased production as well as increased efficiency. The overall decisiveness, footwork, and overall just pure talent as both a scorer and playmaker puts Shai in the MVP talks for the foreseeable future. He's also very attractive. And now for the big reveal, my 2024 NBA Kia MVP. Is it even Kia anymore? I don't know, but it is Zion Williamson. Yep, Zion Williamson is my pick to take home the MVP in 2024. For the millionth time, Zion has promised us big changes this offseason, and the pictures come out of him looking nuts. Obviously, we've seen this before, but his reaction to the Mariah Mills situation has really reflected some maturity he's had. There were many revealing things leaked through this drama, but Zion remained professional, and I've only heard positive things about him this entire offseason. Zion is arguably the most dominant paint scorer since Shaq. Through albeit small sample sizes, Zion has shown us the ability to be a top 3 scorer, not only with his premier volume, but the ridiculous efficiency as well. Zion is honestly the most athletic player I've ever watched, shifting his weight and leaping at his size I've never seen someone able to do. Pair this with a perfectly capable handle and a great pressure on the glass, Zion is debatably a top 8 offensive player in the NBA. The Pelicans had a rocky year last season. With tons of injuries and drama, they still managed to go above 500. Ingram is a top 25 player, Trey Murphy is one of the most efficient role players in the league, CJ McCollum is a great initiator and scorer, and Herb Jones is a legit all-defensive player, along with a bunch of potential off the bench, and the Pelicans are all but a #1 option away from being a contender. For these reasons, I truly believe this is the season Zion Williamson can take home the 2024 NBA MVP.
Why are you so handsome?
Why are you so beautiful?
And that is going to wrap up my award predictions, man. Obviously, I expect a lot of disagreement in the comments, but in reality, none of us know who's going to win what. Jake Layman can go and win MVP for all we know. As always, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I'll be sure to be consistent for the 2024 NBA season. And as always, I love y'all. Peace. You didn't do Coach of the Year. Man, nobody cares about Coach of the Year. Here, throw some random old bald dude on the screen. That's my take.